Hello and welcome to Sync and Flow, the podcast with me, your host, Josie Thorne. I am a Red Tent Women's Circle facilitator, a womb healer, and feminine empowerment coach. I have been guiding women to embody their true essence through womb activations and feminine embodiment practices. I started Sync and Flow to help educate and connect women back to the wisdom of their sacred womb space and cyclical nature. I want to help all women reawaken to the true power of the feminine that lives deep within them, so that they may cultivate a relationship to self that is rooted in pure trust, divine love, and a deeply intuitive connection to the body. Thank you for being here and taking the time to listen to this podcast episode. I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome back to Sync and Flow, the podcast. This is episode 19 and I'm recording this in the wild. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this beautiful river behind me. I'm at my beautiful river home for Marklecates, which is on the east coast of South Africa. This is my soul home, this is my soul sanctuary. And I have this glorious river and mountains behind me. I've realized that sometimes recording these podcasts can put a lot of pressure on me to be in the right place, the right time, have the energy to speak. And I've decided that sometimes I want to do some short podcasts where I just talk to you guys and we have a little conversation about some things that have been on my mind and some things that I want to bring to you. So today I want to talk to you about the importance of spending time alone, the importance of taking time out for yourself. We just had the Christmas festive season. I'm sure many of us have spent time with our families. And yeah, as we are starting off this new year, today is the 8th of January 2024, I just want to speak about the importance of spending time alone and taking time out for yourself that is separate from spending time with family. We live such overstimulated lives in this modern world. We are so often surrounded by our technological devices, phones, laptops. We are so often just always available to others, whether that's through technology or whether that's being present with others in person. And we're so often overstimulated by socializing and stimulated by technology and overstimulated by our to-do lists and overstimulated by doing, really, that we forget to take time out to just be and be on our own, because being on your own is a really important way for integration and self-reflection to happen. If we don't spend time alone, we really lose touch with our soul. We lose touch with that inner sense of self because we're so conditioned to people please and put others before ourselves and meet the needs of others before we meet the needs of ourselves. We end up self-sacrificing, and that only comes at the cost to our own sense of self-confidence, our own sense of joy, our own sense of finding validation within the self. And the only way to remedy this is to spend time alone. it is to take time out for the importance of isolation. Isolation has been such a negatively connotized word. Connotized, I don't even know if that's a word. Connotated. But isolation can be a really important step for growth, a really important step for integration, a really important step for self-reflection. And isolation can really help us come back to who are we when we're on our own? What are our values? How do we, present ourselves? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we prioritize ourselves? What is the most important, the most fundamental aspects of ourselves? And how do we find joy and bliss and peace and inner fulfillment from spending time alone? How do we reconnect back to ourselves when we live these very fast-paced lives? And my solution to you, to these questions, is spend time alone. Take time out for yourself. Go away on your own. Go to the countryside. Rent an Airbnb. You don't need a partner or a friend or a lover to fulfill you always. You can be completely fulfilled and happy and satisfied and peaceful on your own without the need for any external things or people. And finding that inner peace, finding that inner fulfillment comes from spending time alone. It comes from knowing who you are when you're by yourself. And this is really important. We need to take time to be still, to be peaceful, to be in solitude and in quiet and stillness, in order to hear the voice of our soul speak to us. The voice of the soul, or the intuition, is a quiet voice. It's a gentle voice. It's a soft voice. And if we're overstimulated by people and socializing and work and all the things on our to-do list, we're not going to hear the quiet, gentle voice of the soul speak. And this is why the practice of meditation and moving meditation, such as yoga or dance, it allows us to come into a deep relationship and conversation between the self and the soul, the mind and the body, the outer world and the inner world. And all of these worlds meet within us. And we can only find this meeting, this sacred silence within, if we create that sacred silence without. It is so fundamental to our being to want to be surrounded by people all the time. We as humans are social creatures. We have this deep need to be accepted by the tribe, accepted by society, included in the tribe. But the self-healer knows that the only way to truly come to understand the multidimensional self, truly come to know the soul, is through time spent alone, is through time spent in nature, is through time spent in stillness. Meditation is a really powerful practice to cultivate this inner stillness. And from this inner stillness, we can start to know ourselves on a deeper level and understand ourselves on a deeper level. The self that is not influenced by society, the self that has not been conditioned, the self that is not traumatized, the self that is not living under familial expectations and roles and labels and all these external things that we use to self-identify and to make sense of the world around us. But if you do not define who you are on your own, the world will tell you who you are. The people around you will unintentionally influence who you are. And we know this because of our understandings of the way that trauma works, the way that the subconscious is programmed, the way that our childhoods affect us as adults. And so the importance of spending time alone cannot be more stressed. The importance of taking time out to cultivate deep self-connection, deep self-intimacy, deep self-understanding. It really cannot be stressed enough. And so if you are feeling lost, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling stagnant, I encourage you to take time out for yourself. Take time to spend time alone. Spend time with yourself. Go out into nature. Rent an Airbnb in the middle of the mountains. And just be. Live a simple life. Create a simple life for yourself. Whether that's for a weekend, whether it's for even one day, even 1 hour. How often do we take time out to spend 1 hour with ourselves, not distracted by others, not distracted by technology, not distracted by the things we need to do, the work we have to do? Taking time out for ourselves in this modern day world seems like a luxury, but actually it is a necessity. Taking time out for yourself to just be, to just breathe, to just feel the wind on your skin, engaging with the elements of the sacred fire, the sacred water, the sacred air, the sacred earth. Getting your feet bare and dirty in some soil, connecting with nature, connecting back to your intrinsic nature, the part of you that cannot be so easily influenced, and that is the wild soul. That is the wild, intrinsic, creative self, the primal self. One of my favorite practices for cultivating this relationship to self is journaling. I often speak about the power of journaling and how journaling can create this beautiful dialogue between our mind and our body, our external world and our internal world. Journaling has been a powerful tool that I've been engaging with for over 5 years now. I have a stack of journals dating back to 2016. And one of my most favorite parts of journaling is being able to go back and read journals of years past and really just see, with the gift of hindsight, what was I going through at that time in life? And what were my personal reflections about what I was going through? What were my innermost thoughts? What were my emotions? What were my feelings? What was I processing? And so having this archive of self, this archive of vulnerable sharings in the form of the journal is such a powerful way to get to know your inner self on a deeper level. And so with this episode, I want to encourage you, if you do not already, to take up the practice of journaling. And there are many forms of journaling. I personally just enjoy stream of consciousness writing, where I just write whatever is on my mind, whatever is on my heart, however I'm feeling, what is going on for me. But there's also really powerful questions that we can ask ourselves. We can journal around questions, these prompts that can dive us deeper into questioning ourselves. The most powerful thing you can do is to ask yourself questions. Am I living the life I want to live? Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Are the people in my life meeting my needs, fulfilling my needs? And are the relationships I hold reciprocal? Do I receive as much as I give? Do I give as much as I receive? How is this person's actions and reactions towards me a reflection of my own state of being? How am I executing my dreams? How am I living my best life? How am I making changes in my everyday life that can, over time, compound and create greater change in my external life? Because every change starts from within. Every change starts from within. And unfortunately, we are creatures of habit. And so we often keep on doing the same things over and over again because that's the easy way. The brain seeks to create patterns. The brain is a pattern recognizer. And so once we recognize a pattern that suits us and is comforting and is nurturing, we tend to repeat that pattern over and over and over again, even at the detriment of our self growth. Oftentimes we will outgrow a pattern, but then still repeat it in our daily lives because that's just the easiest thing to do. The harder thing to do is to ask the questions, seek the change from within, create those daily little aligned actions that over time compound into massive change. And so with this episode, I send you my love from my beautiful river soul sanctuary. I send you peace. I send you fulfillment. I send you the courage and bravery to follow the callings of your soul. Follow the callings of your wild heart. Listen to the inner stirrings of your womb. We have so much wisdom inside, and all we need to access that wisdom is to stop what we are doing, close our eyes, disconnect from the external, and tune back in with the internal. From my heart to yours, love always. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode and engage with all the wisdom that was shared. If you enjoyed this podcast, please remember to leave a review on your podcast platform of choice, as this really helps this wisdom reach new people. If you have any questions or queries, please feel free to reach out to me via Instagram DM or send me an email. You can follow me on my personal account on Instagram at Josie, Josie _Thorne, THORNE, or you can follow Sync and Flow, my business accounts, at Sync, that's spelled SYNC _in_flow. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or queries you may have. Otherwise, get in contact to book a free discovery call to start your self-healing spiritual journey today. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now, loves.